Oh, it just starts.
And we're live. New stuff. This is new software, folks. So
Bear with us.
yeah, we're trying something new.
You can see our smiling faces now if you're watching
Maybe
on seeing on
if this
socials.
goes,
If it works.
if this works, yeah. Hopefully, that's kind of the theory of everything. Yeah, I feel like I should have my mic in the shot.
I don't know.
No,
I
it
hold
just
it. I
won't
put
work.
it in the
It just won't
stand, like
work.
all that good stuff. We're using
I,
StreamYard. You can see it in the top right if you're watching on video. If you're not, then there's going to be no difference. So hopefully it sounds exactly the same. But yeah, it's we're always trying to evolve here at Cigs Inside, an Indiana football podcast. As the Indiana Hoosiers continue to do their thing, we're going to continue to do ours. So yeah, new elements are coming all the time. We got a video element for the people. So excited to see where this goes, and then hopefully as we get more used to StreamYard and kind of the things that they can do on their end, because I'm not super familiar with the service yet, but I know they can do some really cool things in terms of like guests and live shows and uh, all that stuff and putting branding. And so they're going to see some cool stuff from us moving forward. But Brad, how you
no
doing?
free ads from StreamYard because we're about to pay them money to make this work. So no, unless we're getting this shit for free, we don't. This is the last time we're talking about StreamYard. It's
No, I'm
fact.
just saying. I'm just saying that's what we're that's so that's what we're using.
It's
So
true.
that's
It's true.
if the audio sounds a little different, if the yeah, I guess that's really the only thing. If the audio sounds a little wacky, that's why. It's a big week, Brad. It's it's as big as it gets in college football, and we're going to get to it in a second. But first, there
What?
is a
Why is it such a big week?
because
Why?
the college football playoff, Brad, starts this
Oh,
Friday, kicking off with the battle for Indiana. The Indiana
nice.
Hoosiers travel north to South Bend. Make that one make sense. To
I'm
take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the first game of the 12-team college football playoff. That's why it's a big week.
that's big time. That's huge. There's there not that it matters, but there are two other bowl games that day. But I don't think anyone's gonna be watching those compared to the solo standalone first ever college football playoff game on Friday night in South Bend, Indiana. I'm calling from Chicago. It's hard to tell with the background, but I'll be making the drive down to South Bend for the game, and I cannot wait because I'm
Yeah,
expecting a Hoosier victory here.
yeah, you and a lot of other people, Brad. I'm gonna be honest. There's gonna be a nice amount of cream and crimson in the crowd there on Friday night. There is a lot of people traveling for this game. I unfortunately am not gonna be able to make the game, so I'll be there in spirit. But I talked to you. I know I have friends who are renting a party bus from Chicago. Are you in that crew actually? No, right?
No, I'm not in that crew,
But
but
have you
that just
heard?
goes to show you I was invited to the crew. I didn't partake in the party bus. I had conflicting schedules.
Yeah, they're taking a party bus over. Like I know people who are flying in from all over the country. Like this is like Indiana's going to travel. Like Notre Dame's got like they're not prepared for the amount of Hoosiers that are going to be in South Bend on Friday. It is going to be. It's going to look like a takeover.
They're gonna hate us. I love it. I can't wait.
The back and forth on Twitter has already been firing up. It's been going for
They
over a week.
stink. They stink at Twitter. They're not even
No, they're
good
not
at
good
it.
at it. They're not good at
It's
it.
At least Nebraska was fun. Like Nebraska, they brought something to the table.
Well,
They're
Brad,
clever.
make sure you catch up with Senior Associate Athletic Director Jeremy Gray when you get to South Bend because he noted on Twitter today that the Hoosiers are printing red towels and they're bringing them.
I'll be sure to find one. That seems to be a mission I need to accomplish when I go down there. It's getting a towel. I haven't gotten one this year.
Yeah, we're a towel school. I don't know if you've known that
Yeah,
yet, Brad, but
I haven't
we are
gotten any
a full
towels.
blown towel school, and it doesn't just stop at Memorial Stadium. We're bringing them with us. And yeah, Notre Dame's not going to like that one either. But
Bloomington
there's going to
North.
be thousands of red towels in Bloomington North come this Friday.
Can't wait. I can't
So it's
wait.
huge.
Yeah. Hopefully
All right,
I'll be
let's
able
get
to leave work a little early to get out of that. Half day.
let's let's get through some smoke real quick, and then let's jump into the game. But Kurt Cygnar just keeps, and this is to nobody's surprise, he just keeps collecting Coach of the Year awards. He racked up another one. I don't even remember the name of the association that gave him this one, but it's just make space on the mantle, Coach, because they're going to keep coming.
He's won like 6 at this point. The Home Depot Coach of the Year award, one of them. I don't know. AP. He's winning all of them as he should. It kind of stinks because like Kenny Dillingham's like in any other year, probably just as deserving. but it's definitely, without a doubt, Kurt Cygnar.
Yeah, without question.
Biggest turnaround in the sports history. Period.
Yeah, without question.
Point blank.
And you got to attribute a lot of that to the defense. And anchoring that defense is Mikhail Kamara, third-team All-America selection. Shout out to Mikhail. He's had an awesome season. We've said it over and over again. He led the entire nation in pressures this year. The fact that he was on the third team is, honestly, he probably should have been a little higher. But he had a phenomenal season. I believe it was the AP, but don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. It's just that you just see things scrolling nowadays. It just feels like I know, like Bryant Haynes was awarded there was a Twitter account that did like Coach of the Year awards, and he was like Assistant Coach of the Year. Like that was fire. But like I don't even know who to credit that to.
Bryant Haynes.
No,
my
point is,
it's
there's
the
so
account
many awards.
College Football Report.
No, it wasn't College Football Report. It was the green one.
College Football Live. College Football.
Yeah,
Reddit.
College Football Live. It was College Football Live. Shout out to College Football Live. Yeah, they named Bryant Haynes as Coach of the Year too, and it's like it's cool to see all these accolades, but it's like which ones are the important ones again? Like they're all important, but like I don't. It's just like see him scroll through on the timeline, so it's like it's even hard to keep up. Like I saw a bunch of like great stats on Trey Weddick today. I can't even remember them. It's just been so much like Hoosier news recently, which is a good thing. Like busy is good, but yeah, it's hard to remember which All-America team that was for. But I believe the Indiana football account tweeted that one out. So
bang. And I saw Pons we didn't put it on the smoke, but he was a second-team CBS All-American. For what
I think we talked about it last week.
I did. I fixed it in there, but I feel like he deserved a second shout out.
Well, definitely. Pons is phenomenal. And Angelo Pons has been maybe the best recruiter on Indiana Twitter.
Are they related?
That's his dad, bro.
That's his dad? All right,
yes.
There we go. All right. That's why I thought. That's why I thought. I wasn't entirely sure. They related? I don't know.
Nah. Just a burner.
Never I could have been. Well, I know he's putting in work.
He is putting in work. No, I've seen some pictures on Twitter, so honestly, that'd be a pretty deep burn. But he was at one of the games with Buffton Prime T-Cal, who that dude's been all over the transfer portal. Like those guys over there know ball for sure. I was watching, jumping in the transfer portal super quickly. Jose Wheeler, from the defensive tackle that just verbally committed to Indiana from Western Kentucky. This dude, he's a monster. Absolute grown man. He was lining up at the 5 tech. He's like as a defensive end. He was lining up inside. Like this dude's a freak athlete. He's strong. He's a good football player. Like it is. I'm excited watching this guy play football and imagining him in Bryant Haynes' defense. Like it's super, super exciting.
Yeah, they say he's going to take over the James Carpenter role.
So, you say that. I actually, in the few plays of him that I watched, he actually, not that he reminded me of Kamara because they're not the same player, but he flashed a lot of those same, like, he was playing more on the right side of the line than the left, but still, like, this dude's a dog. And he's like,
I can't wait. Wheeler, great production, all-conference guy, fits the mold. Next. It's going to be the same thing, the whole portal. It's going to be awesome.
Seriously. Well, they added special teams. They added Brendan Franke, who's a kickoff specialist from Texas Tech. I think he was, 5th in the nation in touchback percentage or something like that.
Texas State. He's on the bottom.
Did I say Texas Tech?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure I said Texas State.
He was in San Marcos last year. You said State. You said State.
Yeah.
For sure. Run it back.
Does
this thing have fucking, what's it called? What do we need?
Rewind function?
the transcript. I need the live transcript.
Live transcript? Huge. Probably not. We got to dive into the features after this. But yeah, they have some really cool stuff. But Mitch McCarthy, punter from UCF. The Rock Report responded to, I believe, Bite Size Bison, saying that this was probably an indication of a little bit of a scheme change. McCarthy is an Aussie-style punter. He's got great stats. Stats very similarly to James Evans. I was going to call him James Carpenter for some reason. That's like, what? That's not the punter.
No, he's James Evans' replacement.
James Evans' replacement.
And Frankie's taking over for McCormick. These are all guys that we potted in the portal last year. So it's like we're just replacing them.
No, Evans definitely wasn't a portal guy, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean, though.
And then the Hoosiers' first commit of the portal season was Lee Beebe Jr., running back from UAB. And I'm sure everybody's seen the news by now that Beebe has, in his own account, I guess, opened up his recruitment. But there's been reports saying that he already signed on the dotted line for Indiana. So it's not just as easy as Beebe reopening his recruitment. He either has to be let out of his current agreement with Indiana, I believe, or Indiana has to grant his release. I think, or he can transfer in the spring window. I don't know if I said that already. But yeah, I have no idea what
Interesting.
happened there. It was really,
Interesting.
really interesting.
I think he'll end up a Hoosier.
The running back that continue to enter the portal, like the talent just keeps coming. Like Roman Hemby entered today. Dowdle entered from Nebraska today. Two really talented guys. The Alabama kid entered today too, but he's already got a bunch of visits lined up. There's just, I mean, Rayshawn Luke is in the portal from Arizona, I think. So there's a lot of really talented backs out there. You've been calling for TJ Harden for the second the season ended, and there's been no noise about that. But there's talent all over the place. So it'll be interesting to see where BB ends up. Obviously, I hope he ends up with the Hoosiers, because when this staff locks eyes with, or says they want somebody, it's like, yeah, they've identified they can help the football team win games. So yeah, I want them, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. I hope BB becomes a Hoosier. It seems likely they're going to grant his release, and then we'll see what happens. Maybe he comes back, and we'll see. Yeah, it seems typically, like, in terms of like the politics of how things work, you kind of want to be pro player and just let him release.
100%.
Cause on the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't want to be known as the school that just like screws guys over, or like, which like I haven't heard any indication that that's what Indiana's doing here. So I'm not saying that's the case at all, and I also don't think that's the way this staff would operate. They seem very much like, if you're in, you're in, you're out, you're out, and you let us know because we're in. And then Marion Knighton, cornerback, transfer from NIU, may sound familiar to our Irish friends up north because he was the one who helped seal the Huskies' victory over the Irish earlier in the year. Knighton has experience picking off Irish quarterback Riley Leonard, so he'll be a welcome addition to the Hoosiers back end. We're really excited to have him.
Yeah, an interesting, position to fill. Cornerback seemed like cornerback and linebacker seemed like the most complete rooms. Obviously, they're probably going to bring in talent at every position. But yeah, corner, to see them hop on a guy this early probably says a lot about Knighton and what they think of him as a player.
100%. 100%. And then the Hoosiers jerseys have been confirmed. If Indiana football uniforms, I think is the name of the account, is to be believed, the Hoosiers are going to be wearing white on whites with a red helmet. They're going to look clean. They're going to look fast. And maybe it'll snow, so they'll blend in. Maybe a little hidden advantage there. Who knows?
One day white helmets. One day.
You famously said last week you weren't a fan of the white on white combo. So do you?
I am a fan of the white on white combo. What are you talking about? I just said it would be nice to maybe go all red and all white from time to time.
Okay.
I think that's a fair statement. I don't even know if you need to go red pants necessarily. Maybe at home. Look cool. It'd be cool if you had like the stripe on the pants too, with the red ones. That'd be kind of dope. Yeah, that's all I got on the uniforms. They need to be up there. I need better material. What do you need me to say about Adidas?
No, nothing about Adidas. I was just looking for. I just wanted to see if you had any type of, like, if it made you feel any type of way or anything. I don't know. I'm just seeing where your head's at.
All white's great. That's what I want to see, and I want to see Notre Dame wear blues. That's what I want.
And then Cigs, Shanahan, and Brian Haynes all spoke today at pressers. It was pretty much business. We didn't hear really any transfer portal stuff. It was all game talk. It was all, we learned from Ohio State. We're moving on to this. The guys are ready. Like, we're just going to, like, looking forward to the opportunity. But Brian Haynes had the most quotable line. They were asking him about stopping the quarterback run and how Notre Dame's offense kind of revolves around their ability to run the ball. And then specifically with Riley Leonard's ability to run the ball. He said it's a very good rushing attack, but he said you can't stop the run if they're going to run the quarterback. It's about making the quarterback pay the toll every time he wants to run it.
Yeah,
if that doesn't fire you up.
If I was Riley Leonard, I'd be a little worried. I'd
He
try to
said, "Yeah,
maybe.
you can tote that
Hey,
rock.
call a pass play.
Yeah, you can
Please.
carry it. We're not going to stop you from carrying it, but you're going to feel it. Carry the ball 20 times. Let's see what happens."
You can't stop the quarterback from running it. It's impossible. If he wants to run it, he's going to run it. He gets the ball first.
Yeah, he touches the ball every single time.
That's not true. The center does, but sometimes the quarterback doesn't touch the ball. Keezer. Direct snap, Wildcat. Sorry. My bad. Sorry.
No, but it was pretty much business as usual. Not that Sig is like overly quotable in his weekly press conference. He usually gives you a little nugget or two. But no, it's all focus is on this game and prepping for this game. And then these dudes are exhausted too. Like they're running full blown recruiting cycles right now. And like you see what happened with BB, like what do you think these negotiations look like? Like this is not an easy time of year for any of these guys. So I'm glad they're all on our side. We got a college football playoff matchup to talk about, Brad. For the first time ever, the college football playoff is expanding to 12 teams, and you can own a piece of history from Nyko Sports. For $119.95, get their limited edition football of only 5,000 featuring our Indiana Hoosiers in every school with a shot to win the national title. Each ball is fully licensed by the NCAA and member schools and embossed for the highest quality to add to your collection. Use the promo code CIGS, that's all caps CIGS, at checkout for $10 off your purchase. To learn more or to order, call 800-345-2868. That's 800-345-2868. Or visit NxckSkrxll.com. That's Nyko, Nikco, sports.com. Discount code SIGS. Tell me about the Irish, Brad.
I like that you do that ad read and not me.
Too much pressure for you?
It's a lot of words, and I'm not the best reader. I read it like a third grade level. Yeah, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That was off the dome.
Come on,
totally
don't do me like that.
Totally not a script. Yeah, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They're in South Bend, Indiana. That's, for those that don't know, that's like in this place called the Region. Basically, damn near, right?
No.
Region adjacent. Northwest Indiana. It's Northwest Indiana.
No, Notre Dame is South Bend is not considered the
Where
region.
Is South
dude.
Bend? I don't know. I'm driving there. I don't know.
Do you know where the region
the region is the closest county in the closest counties in Northwest Indiana to Chicago.
I believe it's called the region because they all have Chicago area codes.
There we go. So South Bend is not.
But somebody's gonna have to stat correct us on that. So when this comes out and the actual people,
okay, yeah, they're a good bit away from Valparaiso.
They're not even close.
And Michigan City.
Not even close, dude. Gary.
Yeah, they're a good bit away. Yeah, they're a good bit away. Ogden Dunes.
I think you just offended the entire city by saying they were in the region, which is hilarious. There's nothing wrong with
insulting the region or South Bend more?
No, they'll take it as an insult because they're wine and cheese board tailgates and all the snooty like preppy bullshit. But no, there's nothing wrong with the region.
Yeah, chill ass region people would probably just laugh and be chill about it. Unlike, I guess people can be chill from South Bend. I have good friends from South Bend. It's not. It doesn't seem so bad.
It looks like a cool place. They're just the enemy this week.
I'm not here to shit on South Bend, but it's in North Indiana. Not Northwest.
It is not in the region. I can tell you. I can promise you that.
Oh well. Well, from what I hear, it's kind of a factory town, from what I know. Famous alumni Rudy. They made a movie about this kid. He's super small and he made the football team and he got a sack in the Georgia Tech game. Got carried off the field, which apparently was a joke crafted by the next alumni on this list, Joe Montana, who really doesn't like Rudy at all. He's really, but yeah, Joe Montana went on to make a lot more money. How could you not like
Rudy, the most famous alumni from their school, listed first?
I don't know. He saved Indiana football, from what I hear, or saved Notre Dame football. That's what I heard. That's I heard Notre Dame became the power they were because they put Rudy on the team. That's what I heard.
I can't say I didn't hear that.
Their head coach at the time was Knute Rockne, who is their greatest coach of all time. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And he's an alumni of the school as well. Jerome Bettis, Tim Brown, probably the two most legendary players to come out of that school besides Joe Montana. Jerome Bettis won a Super Bowl with the Steelers. Tim Brown was a great player for the Niners as a receiver forever. Not the Niners, the Raiders. Raiders, gotcha. And then, Condoleezza Rice, Regis Philbin, good alumni. Good, decent. They're okay.
Not a bad school
lot
up there.
A lot of CEOs probably have a good amount of NIL money.
Great relationship with NBC.
Wine and cheese board, charcuterie board types over there at Notre Dame. If they can move out of the region, they would. I promise. I'm just gonna keep saying they're from the region. We'll just keep doing it. Yeah, but let's throw it back to 1918. This is probably like the beginning of football as we know it. And they hire a guy by the name, an alum of the school, a guy by the name of Knute Rockne. And he went on to apparently be their winningest head coach or something like that. He won a Rose Bowl in 1924, which is pretty cool. Their only bowl victory during that time, because that was basically like the only bowl around. I think it was that, the Orange Bowl, maybe the Sun and the Sugar. Maybe that's it. But yeah, he went on to win 3 claimed national titles before 1931.
Yeah, okay. Good for them.
He went on. Frank Leahy, another football coach for them, during World War II, by the way, won 4 national titles during that time. I think he had to leave for service at one point, and they didn't win. And then he came back, and they won 2 more national titles. It's pretty crazy. But like this is all irrelevant because this is like before like color TV, which doesn't come until like I don't know 1964 ish. They end up hiring this guy by the name of Ara Parishian, and he wins 2 national titles over there at Notre Dame, including a Sugar Bowl victory. He ends up getting fired. They go with Dan Devine. Dan Devine wins a championship in 1977, and then he kind of flames out. They go with Jerry Faust, who fails basically. Doesn't really get them to where they need to be. They're like 500 ball at this point. They're like 5 years, and then they hire one of the best coaches of all time, a guy by the name of Lou Holtz. And in his 3rd year, I would say he brings Notre Dame back to glory, and they win a national title in his 3rd year, winning the Fiesta Bowl, going undefeated. Yeah, back with Tim Brown. Tim Brown was on that team. Legendary stuff. And then, he goes on to go to basically like New Year's 6 level bowls, like Orange, Sugar, Cotton, Fiesta, for about 10 straight years there, and kind of flames out. He's an old guy, kind of retires. They go on to Bob Davie, Tyrone William, Charlie Weiss. There's nothing really sticking. And then they go on to hire Brian Kelly from a reeling Cincinnati team that went to a New Year's 6 Bowl that year. In 2010, they poached him from Cincinnati, and he basically brings Notre Dame back to the Lou Holtz days. Going to bowl games maybe not the same level, going to New Year's 6 Bowls for 10 straight years, but, bringing them back. They go to the national title game in his 3rd year, come up short to a very good Alabama team. Didn't
stand a chance in that game either.
Did not stand a chance, but they made the national title game. And, we talk a lot about these histories because not a lot of schools make national title games ever. Period. Point blank. And so to have kind of the heat that he got throughout his time, I get it. 0 New Year's 6 Bowl wins, by the way, during the Brian Kelly era.
He didn't really help himself either.
Yeah. In what way?
I mean, especially at the end, like even like basically his exit interviews and all the quotes he had when leaving Notre Dame and going to LSU, and like, I'm coming here to have the resources to win, and I felt like I did everything I could there, and basically said like, I can't win a national title at Notre Dame, so I'm leaving.
Well, I think the quote was, "I think I did everything I could there." Now, I'm not here to like, defend Brian Kelly. He's a very, very bad guy, very bad man. If you don't know much about his tenure at Notre Dame, there was an accident there, and
Yeah, this is horrific. Actually, this is
a
like not
student
even a laughing matter
manager,
at all.
a student manager died while he was there, and so I think there was some sort of parting of ways, a mutual breakup per se, because that was pretty recent to when he ended up leaving. And yeah, I think it was just a mutual parting of ways. They already had Marcus Freeman on the staff. All the players wanted him. Brian Kelly wanted out. It just made too much sense for all parties involved. And yeah, he goes on to LSU. They hire Marcus Freeman, and they're just clicking as they were, basically in
You could
Brian
argue
Kelly
they're
era.
better.
Yeah, coming out with two bowl wins in two seasons with Marcus Freeman, winning a Gator Bowl and a Sun Bowl. Doesn't come too easy. 19 wins in 2 seasons so far. And they made the college football playoff in his third year. They're a 7 seed in the field. I think they're ranked 5th, 4th in the poll. He's doing okay.
Yeah, he's doing all
He's
right.
doing just fine for
He's
year
doing
3.
all right. That brings us to modern history.
I don't know where that brings us to. Yeah, it brings us to, I guess, they're 11-1. They're doing great. They didn't win a conference title again. They have 0 conference titles. They are coming in off a 2-touchdown victory over their rival on the road, USC. It is the Indiana Bowl, the Hoosier Bowl. December 20th, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern
Sure.
on ABC, Notre Dame Stadium, South Bend,
This is,
Indiana.
I think this is like the first time Notre Dame's played on ABC in like 20 or 30 years or something crazy like that.
It's insane. It's the first home game not on NBC since, the 60s. Pre-Lou
60s.
Holtz. Pre-Lou Holtz.
That is how they're able to just never join a conference, is because they just have the NBC partnership and their games are always on in prime time regardless of who they play.
Yeah. The spread is 7.5 for Notre Dame. The total's at 51.5. Historically, this has been a pretty irrelevant football series. They've only played once since 1959. And they played in 1991, which they played the Jerome Bettis team when he was a freshman. And they lost that game by like 3 touchdowns with Bill Mallory. They have not won since 1950, but they haven't played since 1959. So it's been pretty irrelevant. The history really doesn't
that
matter.
you could literally throw that out. That is like
There's not even
an existing rivalry. Like there isn't a matchup. They have an agreement to start playing games in 2030 or is it 2031?
This is the beginning of what could be a new rivalry in college football.
Yeah. But it's funny because, and this has been beat to death too, but it's not even like there's a crazy like recruiting outcome that can come from the conclusion of this game. Like they don't really recruit in the same circles. Like they don't have the same schemes. Like they're 2 very different football teams, which I think is exciting for the way this game is. And obviously both being from Indiana, you're seeing the clashes already and houses divided and things like that. But there isn't like this is just like, this is football. Like we're playing football.
It's our sport. It's our sport now. I don't know if they learn the news, but yeah, state. All I know is that state schools don't lose, or blue bloods don't lose to MAC teams at home. Period. We're a state school. We're a football school. We're not fucking around. We're here to take names. Like I said, this is the beginning of the rivalry. This is a great time to set the tone in terms of the national perception. Like we talked about coming into this game, like in theory, like before the season, it's like, oh, it's a nice to be here, but like they could really take the next step sooner rather than later by winning this game. So I have to disagree with you. I think there is a recruiting ramification only for Indiana. Notre Dame wins, same old, same old. Indiana wins, changes everything for Indiana.
Transfer portal maybe, but I think you're still selling the same thing to the high school kids. I don't think Indiana takes a step back from if they lose this game. I think everyone just expects them to go in and lose.
Nothing to lose in this game. 0.
But I love their draw. Like this is a team, Notre Dame, that's put up 14 points at home against NIU. Indiana's defense is better than that. Like this is a team, Notre Dame, whose strength is running the football. Like Indiana is a top 5. They're the best team in the country at stopping the run.
It's scary for Notre Dame if you're an Irish fan. You have to be scared of the fact that it's strength on strength in this matchup in terms of this draw. What Indiana does good, Notre Dame's counter is good. Where Indiana maybe doesn't do as well, that's also where Notre Dame struggles in terms of where they're going to counter. Whether that's I'm alluding to their passing, or what am I alluding to?
The passing attack of Notre
their
Dame
passing
and the
attack.
defense of Indiana.
Where some would maybe say our weakness might be our secondary. I don't agree because we have a lot of pressure up front and we're willing to,
leave our guys on islands because of
leave our guys on islands.
Quarterback.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, Notre Dame's built the same way. This might be the best defense we face all year.
I don't know about that, man. That Michigan defense is really damn good. That Ohio State defense is crazy talented too. But Cross, you're right. Cross might be the best defensive player we face this year. And if he's 100%, that's going to be a problem.
Notre Dame's defense is very good at all 3 levels. They have NFL guys at the wazoo right now. Marcus Freeman's a defensive guy. This is always going to be their identity with him at the helm. And it's year 3 in the system. Year 4 in the system, actually. So all these guys have played under Freeman for their entire college career, for the most part. It's going to be a difficult matchup. I like that it's in the snow. I think that favors Indiana. I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest. I think where we can make strides is attacking the passing game. But for the most part, this is going to be where we get our edge, is that we can pass and they can't. And that's the type of game that we need to have, because it's all going to come down to who can make the throw at the end of the game to win. And that's going to be Indiana.
No, 100%. If it comes down to exactly what you just said, to the passing attacks, because the rest of Indiana's defense neutralizes the rushing attack. Notre Dame's defense neutralizes Indiana's rushing attack. And all of a sudden you have Riley Leonard versus Curtis Work in a quarterback competition.
In a duel.
I mean,
that's the game that we need.
That's the game that Indiana is going to want to play. And I mean,
it's not
even a question. I don't think you could have anybody seriously look at you and tell you, if they're purely throwing the football, they're taking Riley Leonard over Curtis Work. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you will. You just can't. He has barely over 2,000 yards in the year, 16 touchdowns and 5 picks. Not the best stats. He definitely takes care of the rock. 66% completion.
Well, both these teams do a really good job
while being their second leading rusher. They have 2 really good backs. He's their second leading rusher.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy. The quarterback run is they're going to use it. And yeah, like the quote from Brian Haynes earlier about hitting the quarterback every time he runs and all that is great stuff. But you're getting 10 blockers.
Riley wants to run for 20. He wants to rush for 20.
This is what he does. He takes the ball and he runs it. So it's like, yeah, you better hit him hard, because he's going to keep getting up and come after you over and over again. But yeah, to your point again, exactly. That's right into the teeth of this Indiana defense. And there's not much Notre Dame does on offense in terms of creating explosive plays, especially in the pass game, where I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrified to leave their guys on islands with our guys. Like, I actually like our secondary in this matchup a lot.
Yeah. And we're going to need a big play. I think our offensive guys can handle this Notre Dame team, because they're NFL guys. But are they the same level of recruit as you see from Michigan, Ohio State? They might be.
Well, in even that, like, you could argue that, and is he playing actually, the freshman left tackle from Notre Dame, or is he out for the year? I can't remember if I saw he was injured or not.
I think I'm not entirely sure. I know they have tons of injuries on their O-line.
They have a lot of injuries, but it seems like a lot of their most talented guys are freshmen or younger guys. That's not to say on the offensive side of the ball. That's not to say they're not going to send a ton of dudes to the draft this year. They are. Like, those are very talented guys on that team. Don't make any mistake about it. But
Xavier Watts, their safety, he's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good player.
Then there was a corner I saw who was above an 80 grade in coverage this year. I think it was like an 84 or something like that. Yeah, like this
It's
is a really good defense. But what
I,
Indiana does really well is execute the scheme, and they know exactly where they want the ball to go at all times. And as long as they can play mistake-free football and stay in this game, I think with the amount of Hoosiers that are going to be in the stadium, like their presence is going to be felt. Like this, it could get kind of like it's not going to be like Ohio State, like where there were 100,000 screaming like Buckeyes, and it was like, oh my god, I can't believe we have to use the silent count in the first
it's
quarter.
not that loud there.
It's not. And opposing teams have shown the ability to go in there and take over. And ticket prices, and I know that was a thing on Twitter, and it was funny that it was like, oh, the Indiana fans aren't going to be able to afford tickets like the Kelly School of Business isn't the top 10 business school in the country. What are we doing here? Like,
I can't
but
afford it, and I'm still going.
yeah,
It's that simple. I'm
and
going to the
ticket
game.
prices are dropping rapidly, and Hoosier fans are buying them up. Like, we're going to have a presence in South Bend, and it's not going to be like that Ohio State game in terms of crowd noise. It's just not.
It's a smaller stadium, 77,000 compared to 100,000 for Ohio State. It's just different level. It's a bowl. It's not as loud. It's not the same. I think
Anything
the
you're
boys
like,
are going to be ready. I think the offense clicks. It's going to click early. Crowd noise won't be an issue. We'll see what they do in terms of pressure. That's going to be the key for us. Making sure the pass game's able to click, so Rourke has enough time. That's really all we need to fix. Yeah, I'd like to see how Mike Shanahan responds from the Michigan-Ohio State games, because Purdue looked really good, and if we can just continue that going into the cold, we have already played our cold game. We've already played our, a couple top 10 defenses. We should be ready.
100%. And then when you look at who's going to be responsible for cleaning up the quarterback run, when you look at Aiden Fisher and Jalen Walker and Sean Asbury and Terry Jones, like these are all dudes that have no problem putting their head on the football and tackling.
Terry Jones is going to be big in this game.
He's going to be huge.
I just already know it's him, because they're going to have Fisher and Walker schemed out. So they're going to make Terry Jones have to make a play.
And Jones and Asbury were they both 100+ tacklers last year for ODU?
Yes.
I know their books were a little murky, but like these dudes aren't afraid to tackle from the safety spot either, and Amari Farrell isn't afraid to hit either.
Yeah. No, our defense. I'm not super worried about the defense. I'm concerned that we might not be able to move the ball, and it might be a lot like Ohio State in that sense. That's what I'm most worried about. It's just crazy to say, because I've been pro offense all year. Even in all my game previews, I've been doubting the defense, but that's the unit I have the most confidence in being ready for this game. The offense, on the other hand, has shown me in the big ones they can slow down a little bit.
The one thing that they were able to do pretty well, which they kind of had to get away from based on the way the game was going, was they were able to run the ball against Ohio State. Now, they didn't do it a ton, and they did it more so late because of the way the score was. But I think they're going to be able to move the football on the ground against Notre Dame. Like, I'm actually not as concerned about Indiana's offense, because this is now going to be the third team they play with those high caliber athletes, especially on the interior defensive line. Like, you say what you want about Michigan as a football team this year and their offense, but that defense was as good as anybody in the country. They absolutely shut down Ohio State. Indiana played them and put up 20 points on them. Like, Indiana played Ohio State's defense. They struggled a lot, yes. And the crowd played a factor in that, and lack of execution. They shot themselves in the foot, yes. But they have that experience, and they can use that. If Cross is at 100%, yes, he's going to be a problem. But if he's not at 100%, he's just out there because his name is Cross and his presence matters, like that could be an edge for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, please, no special teams mistakes in this game.
Yeah,
we have a special teams faux pas, it's game's over. Keep it clean, make it close, make it come down to Curtis Rourke having to make a play. That's
and I like
how we
our
win
chances.
this game.
I like,
and I like it if that's it. That's the game I'm envisioning. I like our chances here.
We both like the under. What's the under? Like 51.5 or something like that?
51.5. I don't see either team scoring 30. I would love to say the Hoosiers are going to go in there and score 30. I don't see either team doing it. I don't like how Notre Dame's offense matches up with our defense in terms of, a points total there. It's an underplay, and it's going to be a gritty one in the snow. And that's the type of game Indiana wants. That's the type it's going to be. So it just all comes down to executing at the end of the game.
You got a score prediction?
23-20. This is a high-end pick. 23-20. Indiana, game-winning field goal.
Whoa.
Yeah. Radicic from 47.
No shit. Dude, all right. Now you're just like, he hasn't kicked one from over 40 this year, has he?
We're going to need him to kick one over 40.
I kind of echo your sentiment in that I feel like it's a race to 21. And I like Indiana's ability to get there first. I think it's like 24-14 Hoosiers. And I think it's a fun one.
Early scores slow down, and then second half sparks it up again.
Yep. We run the ball. Time of possession is up. We're playing stout defense. And it's just like we just wear them out. I think it's like I think we're literally going to see the game that Notre Dame wants to play against Indiana.
Like, we're not bad. We went into Ohio State, got the ball, drove the ball down, and scored a touchdown. Like, it's not – this team just had a bad day. The team can execute this. The scripted plays were working. They just had to figure it out throughout the rest of the game, and they didn't against Ohio State.
And, yes, Notre Dame is a good team.
It's time to figure it out.
They are a good team, and a lot has changed since the beginning of September. But this is still the same football team that lost to Northern Illinois at home.
Same guys.
And Indiana is better than Northern Illinois.
Yeah, it's gonna get spicy down there. Spicy like hot sauce.
Speaking of SoCal.
Speaking of Southern California, be sure the holidays are coming up. I got my Santa hat on. The holidays are coming up. I think a great gift would be giving people the taste of the Southwest. Go to SoCalHotSauce.com. Anything above a 4-pack is free shipping. On top of that, you can use the promo code SIGSINSIDE, 2 words, SIGSINSIDE, for 10% off any order right now. You can get any of the best flavors. My favorite is the hot avocado, but they also have original avocado, red hot, which is very hot, but if you're into that, go for it. It's very good. And then the traditional red. Usually you can get a 4-pack of all one of each, or you can mix and match and customize your own 4-pack, which is very cool. Maybe you're giving a gift to someone that doesn't like super hot, so you replace that hot with the normal red. So you do 2 normal red and a hot avocado and a regular avocado. Or maybe since they don't like spicy at all, you just go 2 original avocado and 2 original red.
Possibilities.
Personally, I would probably go 4 hot avocado personally. And that's what I would go. But don't do that because I'll run out of bottles. So got to make sure I have my salsa.
Check them out on Twitter too, at SoCal Hot Sauce. They're doing a bunch of things for the holidays, so go check them out. Promo code SIGSINSIDE, 2 words. 10% off your order.
SoCal Hot Sauce, game of the week. Indiana, Notre Dame. SoCalHotSauce.com, game of the week.
We both like the Hoosiers. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody.
Yeah, no, if you're expecting me to finally stray away and be like, thinking Notre Dame,
Notre Dame, they said they played a hard schedule, but they actually really didn't. Notre Dame's strength schedule is only actually, is Indiana's schedule technically harder? I think it was.
It was this year because we played Ohio State. They didn't play anyone like
Jokers.
Jokers. How many Power 4 schools did they play this year?
No, don't play this game. Don't do that. Their schedule visually looks all right. I'm gonna be honest. It's in the strength of schedule numbers. They
played an 8-game Power 4 schedule.
But no, here's my point. It's in Indiana's strength of schedule numbers that they try and pull up to be like Indiana didn't play anybody, and then you use those same numbers and realize Notre Dame played less people. But in terms of name value of who's on their schedule, it doesn't look bad. Louisville's on there, USC's on there. They played A&M.
Notre Dame does a good job of scheduling. They don't schedule a cupcake schedule. They do.
Well, they don't schedule cupcakes.
They schedule the same types of teams, which year over year could have a down year like this, where okay, Florida State's bad, Georgia Tech's in a little.
They don't schedule anybody who's better than them on paper.
That's true. They do schedule an undefeated season on paper.
They do every single year, which like, why would
As
you
they
not?
should. Yeah,
If you're just going to
no.
get handed a playoff spot every year for showing up.
Yeah, give me Army, Navy. Yeah, for
Yeah, we'll
sure.
take Army and
Yeah,
we'll
we're
take
here.
Navy and
Give me a
we'll
couple
play
MAC schools. We need a
NIU.
couple
Yeah,
cupcakes.
got to
Yeah, we'll
play the
do.
MAC.
Yeah, Purdue's down the road. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
them.
Purdue. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in Indiana, right? We'll play
Yeah,
them.
they're in Indiana. We'll play them. We always play Stanford and USC for some reason. Yeah, let's throw them on
Stanford,
every
big
year.
rivalry. Everyone knows the rivalry between Notre Dame and Stanford. Can't miss that game.
Can't miss it. And then then we'll just fill in the gaps with like what 4 ACC teams. Nice. There
Yeah,
we go.
sick. Schedule math. And then we'll go tell
and then
other
we'll do
people
a
they
week
didn't play
1 SEC team to make it look nice.
Yeah, and then we'll go tell other people they didn't play anybody.
The week 1 SEC team is great because it's like that's your best shot.
Yeah, well, nobody knows if they're good or not. Yeah. Like A&M was solid this year, but like everybody thought A&M was going to be like a top 8 team when Notre Dame beat them.
Marcel Reed didn't even start that game. That's what's funny about the whole thing. It's like that wasn't even their starting quarterback didn't even play in that game. It was Weigman.
Unbelievable. They'll say anything. They really will.
Man, ABC.
College game day.
Are they gonna put the 7 or the 10 next to Indiana? The 10 seed? Have to, right? Even though
I would assume yeah, that's so dumb. They shouldn't have done it that way. Like, why would they just confuse people further? Just seed them the way you're going to seed them and call that the rankings. Like, who cares?
I love that year 1, it kind of set up, in terms of like a playoff as a whole, it kind of set up a first year to where we have these insane first round games. Because if you reseeded them, like they'd be cool, but like to the average consumer, like you're like Indiana, Boise State.
Yeah, like sure.
I guess.
Red versus blue.
No, it does set up some pretty intriguing first round matches. And as a viewer, I think it makes it a lot better. As a sports fan, I think it'd be a lot more fair if they did it like the basketball tournament and they just give the 5 auto bids and then like they nailed the field, but they should have just reseeded the teams as they are.
Well, like, other than Notre Dame, who do you feel like they got egregiously wrong? People are like, oh, I guess it's like Arizona State having the bye or Boise State having the bye, but that's just people pissed off that good teams have to play.
For me, it is the Arizona State, Boise State having the bye. Like I think Penn State and Texas deserve those byes.
Why? I get it, but like Texas lost twice to the team that won their conference. Notre Dame or Penn State lost to a team that had 2 losses and lost to the conference champion.
Okay, maybe. Oh yeah, then we're talking a whole nother conversation of rankings.
Yeah,
exactly. I think Boise State should have been ranked higher by going undefeated with their schedule minus losing to the number 1 seed by a touchdown, I believe. Yeah, they should probably be ranked higher. Arizona State has a bad loss. I forget who it is. I can't pull it up. They lost someone earlier in the year. They started out like they also did like Texas Tech.
This is my biggest gripe with the people complaining about the way the seeding is played out. Is the only people complaining are the ones from like Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia and it's like it's all the schools that got quote unquote screwed by the 2 lesser teams jumping them because they got auto bids. They got auto buys. But everybody knew the rules going into the season.
Yeah, I just think they should change the rule. I like the auto buys. I think the field is good. I think they nailed the 12 teams that should be in the field. I think they should have ranked them in terms of seeding. Like seeded them by the rank. So like Notre Dame would be the 5 seed. So they're the 5th ranked team. And they would play a home game against Arizona State. No, Clemson. They'd be hosting Clemson. How sick would that be?
That'd be pretty.
We'd be hosting Boise State. How awesome!
Listen, that's a whole different conversation of whether or not Indiana deserved the home playoff game. Because again, if you're going to look at those schedules, like Indiana's loss was to a team that's in the college football playoff, and Notre Dame's loss. And yeah, say what you want about the teams Notre Dame beat, but that's who Notre Dame lost to. Is a bottom half team in the MAC. Which team really deserved to host a playoff game? But
if we're doing this, let's do this. First, what are their 3 best wins?
Notre Dame,
A&M,
Notre Dame,
And then
A&M, USC, and Louisville probably.
Georgia Tech and USC.
Do you think Tech over Louisville?
Yeah. I don't think Louisville's that good. They lost to Stanford. They're bad. Anyways.
Indiana's three best wins.
Michigan,
Michigan, Washington,
Nebraska.
Yeah.
It's comparable. That's my point.
It is.
It's comparable.
There is no
A&M's
A&M
probably the best
there.
win on that. A&M's probably the best win on that, but I'd say the next three are probably the 3 wins that Indiana got.
Yeah. Put any of those ACC teams in the Big Ten and have them play the Big Ten schedule and just see what happens.
See what happens to Georgia Tech if they play Indiana. Probably similar score to 31-13.
No, I don't really have a problem with the seeding. Everybody knew you win your conference.
Field's the field.
And if anything, if you're Clemson, like Clemson
I just think
probably
they should
has
change the rule.
Yeah, I don't know.
They could give an auto bid too. They can rank Boise State 3 if they want. They have any balls, like just do it. You know?
Yeah, the whole like
Reward
rank
them.
C thing was weird. It was just weird. Like why even put that out there?
Yeah. Just name the field.
Yep. Here's the field. Here are the seeds. These are the rules.
Which they did do. They did change the rules. Or they did, they had the rules. They presented the rules. We played the games. Still had the rules. I just think they should change the rules. Just one of them. Not even like I think 5 auto bids should get in. Maybe even 6. I'd open the door to 6. I think conference champions deserve a shot.
Well, there was like talk that this was the last standalone Army-Navy game and that they're going to push the playoff out, expand it out next year, and that it's going to encroach on that weekend.
No, 12's perfect.
Dan Patrick and Gary Danielson were talking about it today.
Everything, they're just getting carried away with everything. Anything more than this, it's like
too much.
Everyone is undeserving.
Everybody gets in, or nobody,
like 15 to 25 is such a wash. Like 15 to 25 on any given ranking ever is just like probably 1 point spreads all across there. Like who knows? I'm using that predictive analytics thing again, but
well, no, there was somebody did put up a thread the other day of like, here's the history of the FCS national like playoff and like all the bottom seeded teams. They don't win. Those games are literally like 3-4 touchdown spreads every single time. Those schools don't even come close.
Yeah, I don't want to see. Give them the bye.
Like Alabama.
Like what were they talking about? 24, 16? What are they talking about?
16 or 24. Alabama does not need to be in this playoff. They lost to Vanderbilt. Like, I'm sorry. Those are the rules. You're out.
You should treat every week like a playoff game then. Like
don't lose.
Indiana did.
Like, don't lose games. How about that? Try not lose. Like Ole Miss. Don't lose to bad teams.
Yeah, like if we lost to Washington, which would be a much better loss than any of those teams, people would have us out.
100%. Like look at Notre Dame. Notre Dame had the one bad loss, and guess what? They didn't lose again.
Yeah, but we didn't. Yeah, we didn't lose to Washington. So, yeah, and Notre Dame won out. So yeah, they're in. Get over it. I don't know why people are so.
Yeah, I think 12 is fine. I think 12 honestly is a really good cutoff. I think.
Yeah, you have to earn
it. Clemson can win this football game against Texas. We talked about it last week. Like SMU has a shot to win this football game against Penn State. These are really competitive games.
Yeah.
But I guess like if you're sitting there like as South Carolina, you're like, well, we just literally beat Clemson like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so they got fucked. To my South Carolina friends, like you guys got fucked in that LSU game. If you guys win that game, you guys are in. So you guys should really just be mad at the SEC reffing. Really is how it should be.
Everything falls back on the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, if they're 10-2, Yeah, if the refs didn't rig that game to give LSU a quad 1 win earlier in the year without realizing that South Carolina is a much better team and they're going to want to be the ones that go on a run, then maybe they wouldn't be in this predicament of, South Carolina gets left for SMU. Who knows? It's a much better argument when you're 10-2, sitting there with a win over the ACC champion.
Not that I'm like trying to dogpile on South Carolina here, but maybe just beat a team that lost to USC at home. Maybe just beat them. You got them at home. Just beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, Lenore Sellers got hurt.
Yeah. No, listen, this is a pro Gamecocks podcast.
Yeah, I like the Cocks.
We like the Cocks here. Shout out to Cocky on a Saturday. Go check them out. Or go check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you guys were left out, but it's just it doesn't make sense to expand. It just doesn't.
I agree. It makes no sense. 12 is a good number.
It'd be way too soon.
Like, let's see it play out first. Like,
yeah, let's see a playoff game.
What if SMU goes out there and I'm again not they're the underdog in this game. SMU, don't come after me. But what if they just get shellacked? Like, what if it's like 60?
Yeah. Then why the hell would you expand it if that's the case? Makes no sense.
No, not at all. I don't think that's the case though. But
I think it's gonna be back and forth. But I think we already previewed. Do we need to re-preview the games? Do
you have anything new to add? I feel like I don't have anything really new to add. I wanted to talk about.
I'm convinced Ohio State's gonna beat I'm convinced Ohio State's gonna beat the brakes off them.
I think we're in a scenario where he may coach his last game at Ohio State during these playoffs. If Tennessee just goes in there and whoops them, I'm not going to sit here
screwed.
And Heartline's like, I'm leaving if you guys don't change something. I don't know. I could see it. That's all I'm saying. Did you have anything else to add in terms of the rest of the playoff for the field?
I think Indiana has the best chance of any underdog to win outright. I think the ACC will hang around, but will eventually lose by multiple touchdowns. And then this might be wishful thinking, but I really do think Ohio State beats the brakes off Tennessee.
Well, they're the better football team. Like, they just are. Yeah. That should be the expected result. Like, they're better at quarterback. They're better on the offensive line. There's probably
I think better on I think that's. I hate to call out a kid, but Nico
Imolava.
Yeah, he's good. Might be a Heisman finalist one day. This year, freshman. Most talented defense he'll see all year.
They play Georgia now?
Like I said, most talented defense he'll see all year.
Yeah, we'll disagree to disagree. That's okay.
Yeah, how good did he play in that Georgia game?
Yeah, that's why we talked about it ad nauseum the other day, but that's why we both like Indiana so much, is because the rest of the bracket looks insanely chalky. And if you want to look at probably the most wrongly seeded team, it probably is Indiana. It probably deserved more respect from the playoff committee. And they get a really good opportunity to go out there and show it on Friday night in front of the entire world, because they're going to be watching.
One of the small seeds. Same spread as Tennessee and Ohio State. People were like, oh, Tennessee would dog walk Indiana. People were telling me that on Twitter. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it.
You can follow Cigs Inside Indiana Football Podcast on Twitter at Cigs Inside Pod. You can follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. You can follow me at Alec Keyser. Check out keysportsnetwork.com. I'm going to have something coming up down the pipe on the website soon. Shout out to Wave, NxckSkrxll, Cygnar. Check out the boys. Check out Friends and Collaborators. Instrumental Volume 1 on streaming platforms now. The intro song, 1621. The outro song is The Sweet Sound of Butter Symphony.
Take us away. See you guys after the game. Is that where we're at? We just previewed the game, so.
Yeah. Next time we speak is going to be after the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah, I'm going to have to squeeze it in before my flight, so probably Saturday night. Probably might have to record.
Maybe you just record Friday night in South Bend.
Maybe I record in the car ride back to Chicago. Or maybe we schedule a time to record. That fits both of our schedules.
That's so funny. Yeah, we're going to figure it out. But no, we'll be back after the game. And yeah, I'm fucking pumped. The Indiana Hoosiers play meaningful football in December. Look at us.
First time ever. And
it's funny. I actually like literally just got a reply on something from the podcast from a Notre Dame fan being like, y'all are talking so much shit. It's like, goddamn right we are. We've literally never been here. You think we're going to get here for the first time?
Happy to be here, sir.
Nothing?
Just happy to be here. Yeah. Just here for the ride.
We're not happy to be here.
I'm not daunted
We're never
at all.
satisfied. We're coming to kick their teeth in.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Hoosiers.